that sound okay out there? How about you guys in the back?
Okay.
Y'all hear me okay?
Okay, at least we got voices from the back. That's good. Hey, folks, this is B-Side Happy Hour for the month of October. It is the anniversary week for Six Springs Tavern. Having the big party on Saturday. Y'all need to, Friday. Big party on Friday. Y'all need to come out.
Hey.
My special guest this week is a legendary singer-songwriter, Mr. Jeff Hopson.
Thank you.
If you don't know Jeff and you listen to Texas radio, you know Jeff. He's written some absolutely amazing songs. Had the fortune of when I left Texas for about 20 years coming back, and he's one of the first guys I got to meet. And as I told him, quickly realized I need to up my game considerably.
The thing about it is, I was made to anticipate your coming back to Texas as much as you were made to anticipate me being here.
Yes, exactly. But no, Jeff is one of my all-time favorite songwriters. Amazing stuff.
I had CDs of yours before you moved here.
That's insane. Ma'am, sorry people subjected you to that. But Jeff has a new CD. Speaking of music, Jeff has a new CD out. You released what, about a month and a half or so?
It was in April.
Was it in April?
Actually
Really?
came out in April. Yeah.
Man, it seems like you just put it out.
I know. It also doesn't seem like it's been since 2014 that the first one came out.
It's Heretic, which is a
2014.
brilliant album. I know it goes by quick. I know. I was looking at my last one. I think it was a year after. It was 2015. And I'm like, God, it still seems like that just came out. But
I know.
All right, well, we're going to play you some original music, tell you some stories. I think I'm going to, if you want me to kick it off, I think I'm going to try a new song. This one is called Heidi Wakes. And the whole reason the song came about was we were listening to Concrete Blonde, and they have a song called Wendy Tomorrow, or Tomorrow Wendy. I can't remember what order that's in. It's a great song anyway. And so we were listening to it, and Heidi's sister's name is Wendy, and she was like, why, Wendy gets a lot of titles, that name, but no one ever writes a song about Heidi. And I was like, well, but maybe in Germany there could be probably quite a few songs, I don't know, with Heidi in the title.
A little story for you. Way back in, I want to say, like 1970, they had in the NFL, they had the Heidi Bowl.
The Heidi
Do you remember
Bowl.
that?
I remember hearing about it.
They interrupted interrupted a championship game to broadcast the movie Heidi.
Yeah, it was something that was like at a game-winning moment or something.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't remember, it was some important moment in the game.
Yeah.
So
that people didn't get to see because Heidi came on.
So there you go, Heidi. See, you're known for something, sweetheart. So this one's called Heidi Wakes, written just to have Heidi's name in the title. And
What key is it in?
it's in this key, whatever, this E minor, I guess. We'll see. We'll see if I can get through this. This is this is new. It takes me forever to learn one, and there's a high likelihood I'm not going to remember the lyrics, so I've got to pull it up here just in case. So if you see a panic glance to my right, that's what's happening.
You're braver than me.
Here we go. Heidi wakes to angry voices nearly every day. Echo chaos strewn suggestions making sense in the disarray. Offering oblivion as a trade for sanity. Contorting pain's last smile into reassuring finality. Heidi wakes to devastation disguised as silent screams, wrapped in new moon horizons and coffin lid like a chain. Whispered hope-filled covenants of nothing goes too far. Making cemeteries, shelves composed of final note, cuts and scars. Heidi wakes to hypnagogia between death mask and day, where the noose looks like salvation hanging on what's left to say. Emotion played and up to sown in detritus to read. Unspoken inside common words that eventually lead back to sleep. So there's a song with Heidi in the title.
I'm digging it.
And one other thing me and Jeff, I always have a penchant for doing. I don't think it's intentional, but finding the most obscure, strange words to fit into a relatively seemingly normal sounding song. So hypnagogia was that one. I had to find a way to.
Which word was it?
Hypnagogia. I had to get that one in there.
See, that's where Judd drives me to the dictionary. I have to go to the thesaurus.
Oh man, well that's why I've made it so big. It's got so much radio airplay and all that. It's driving folks to the dictionary. So
I think the weirdest one that I've ever done is wondering what my new status quo be. Wondering what will my new status quo be. That was an effort.
Well, there's another guy out there I think we get along with named John Grant, and he's got a great song, and he actually had me going to the dictionary where he used the word periphraxis, and I was like, I had no clue what the hell that meant.
You remember Chris Wall, the great Texas singer-songwriter? He had a word that he put in a Texas country song on one of his records. And I can't remember what it is, but it's like a geometric term.
Oh yeah, he was definitely a poet. He was amazing. Yeah, R.I.P. to he passed away unfortunately. If you don't know Chris Wall, go check his stuff out. But that's enough. Hey, let's hear some Jeff Hopson.
Let's do. I'll kick it off the way I kick off every one of my gigs with the first track off the brand new album. It's a happy breakup song. Country music is so riddled with tears and sorrow and crying in your beer and, losing everything. And I decided, I've been through breakups which were the best thing that ever happened to me. And she might have said the same thing, So I wrote an upbeat, happy breakup song. It's called So Far, So Good. Well, the gutters were running full when you pulled from the curb. It was coming down in buckets, and I stood there with hands in my pockets with no final words. And I walked back into a house that knows me, wondering what will my new status quo be. The echo of my footsteps is all I heard. Well, now it's been a week, and I thought there'd be a whole lot of tears. Instead I laughed till I cried. I thought I would die at some old movie I hadn't seen in years. I thought a crowd would gather around to kick a man when he's down. But the atmosphere in here shoots down my fears. 'Cause I'd come to believe life had crashed life on the table once the tables had turned. So far, so good. It's turning out better than I thought it would. So good, so far. I can get used to the way things are. So far, so good, so good, so far. Here's the good part. Now the remote's all mine when the TV's on. It sure as hell ain't no pity, no more sex in the city, all-day marathons. There's room in my closet for all of my clothes, and when the weekend comes, anything goes, and no more bitching about the mess in the kitchen. Since you've been gone, I had come to believe life had crashed and burned. There's life on the table once the tables had turned. So far, so good. It's turning out better than I thought it would. So good, so far. I can get used to the way things are. So far, so good, so good, so far. And a happy little jazz chord at the end.
Nice. Yeah, we were listening to one of them happy. Well, this was a happy divorce song, right?
Yeah, that too.
Nice. So, man, that's on the new one.
Yep, it's the first track on the new album, which is called Lost and Found, and I'll do that song for you just in a little bit.
Strangely enough, has a song called that. Yeah, you guys need to track down the new one by Jeff. It's very good. Also pick up Heretic. Heretic is a classic. It's a classic.
Thank you, Judd. You have some very classic stuff that are in my collection as well.
Perhaps some stuff that should never see the light of day, I'd imagine.
I disagree.
All right.
Disagree with that. Back in the 80s, MTV was playing stuff that sounded a lot like yours. When they had balls.
Here you go. Well, all right. Well, I'm going to play this. I guess this next one will be. This one's about death cults and drug cartels, but that's the superficial. That's easy. That's just the synopsis. The real story is about a fellow named Augustus. No, what's his name? What the hell was his name? The magician who was down there helping the cartels out. Adolfo Costanza. Yeah, I was down there helping the cartels out. It was like, hey, we can, basically keep you invisible from the federales and everything on the border. And for a while, his magic worked. He practiced this thing called Palo Mayombe, and it worked for a while. And the thing is about Palo Mayombe, apparently, is you need to have sacrifices in order for it to work. Yep. So he had basically a cartel of his own who would go and harvest people off the streets, and they would sacrifice them on this ranch called Santa Elena's Ranch, right out there in Matamoros. And he was doing pretty good for himself, and then he made the mistake of killing a young man from the University of Texas, and that's when everything fell apart for him. And the magic quit working, and the cartels were done with him, and he went on the run. And things did not end up well for Adolfo in a hotel room in Mexico City. Either, depending what story you hear, either he took himself out or he had one of his henchmen do it.
I love the way you always introduce this song every time I've heard you play it before. This is a song about death cults and
drug cartels.
And drug cartels.
None of which my wife or her family have anything to do with, even though they're from Mexico City.
I didn't think so.
Here we go. This one's called Santa Elena's Altar. Black metal and blood string the chords of my soul, sounding an angel's whisper to guide where the blade must go. And no acolyte shaking hand can alter what must be, where pain is a sacrament made more divine by degree. The search for innocence to feed the dead and deities is a burden I have welcomed, well, as a price for piety. Well, each sacrifice an honor painted red by some unknown, a final heartbeat paid transaction, well, on a debt they've always owed. The screams ring a chorus, well, in praise of what's been done. Each last breath a lantern illuminating what's to come. Beyond the realm of worry, a new reality, where action without regret writes the lines of prophecy. The silence of the landscape serves to mark the hallowed ground where a desert sand dome temple holds parishioners earthbound. Above the souls of two dead crows cross to form a sacred frame. Well, there's a dark spell of protection from the laws of the profane. And still they search for reasons, any semblances of why, to fill the blanks within the spaces of a leaden Eucharist reply. Cadium Pembe smile at what's been done in his name. Cadium Pembe smiles at all the work that I've done to exalt his sacred name.
Love that song.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Nice guitar work on that.
Thank you, man. I just fall into it. It sucks me right in, you know. That descending chord progression just sucks me right in.
Oh, it's fun. So what you got for us, brother?
Well, since we're at the dark end of the bar,
There we go. My favorite part of the bar.
and you're the bard of the dark end of the bar. This is the title track for the newest album, and I wrote it. I don't exactly know why. Religious and like Old Testament imagery have always kind of suckered me right in. I love that. I love to hear it. I love to see it in movies. I love to hear it in songs, and I was thinking of that when I began to write this, and I come up with just a few lines that wound up in the song. It's not like the chorus or anything, but then I got to thinking about what this is about, and I'll be honest. There was a girl back some years ago, quite a few years ago actually, that I was real interested in kind of like seeing, getting to building a relationship with, I guess, to put it in cheesy terms. And she was closer to my age than she was the guys that she was dating. And it's because she, for her age, she was a very, very pretty, attractive girl, and she could get those younger guys. And I decided to make that the basis for the song. And it's the song Lost and Found. She stayed lovely well into her years. She came out smelling like roses despite the bourbon and the beer. She sent some good ones packing, heartbreaks created fears. And then the young man's eyes grew distant and her raging eyes drew tears. Sometimes she'd get the love look from the young man at the bar, and she could paint just like Picasso and hide the wrinkles and a scar. Sometimes she needed loving, sometimes it was cocaine, and sometimes a shot of free fall, or all three to kill her pain. But she found Jesus in the alley, her lunch in the lost and found. Her conversion was an anomaly, her reputation on the ground. But she shouted hallelujah, and she shouted amen, till the loneliness reclaimed its place and she wound up lost again, again and again. Her love affair with Jesus came on the heels of her great loss. He gazed down with compassion, transfixed upon his cross. Her world gone dark and crazy, her guilt profound and cold. She reached out to a graven image for a bloody hand to hold. But it turns out Jesus couldn't hold her like she needed to be held. She tried so hard to cling to him through her heaven and her hell. Satisfaction seemed more reachable in a lonely motel room, and no judgment from the holy people, and relief is coming soon. And she found Jesus in the alley, her lunch in the lost and found. Her conversion was an anomaly, her reputation on the ground. But she shouted hallelujah, and she shouted amen, till the loneliness reclaimed its place and she wound up lost again, again and again. She slips her number in his wallet, not expecting him to call, and she lays in a motel bed and stares at a cross upon the wall.
Wow. Damn. Conversion was an anomaly. Love that. Love it.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Damn, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, me and Jeff were kicking around a song idea called Crucifixion Nails. Yeah. That it's not what y'all think it's going to be about. We got to figure out how to approach this one.
Yeah. Fingernails.
Actually, this came about. We're goofing around back here in the green room at Six Springs.
That's exactly where.
And your daughter was there and came out and was just tossing stuff at you. Came up with crucifixion nails.
Yeah, my
We're
daughter
like,
does nails. She has a little nail salon business going, and she does fingernails. And this conversation happened,
And Jeff came up with crucifixion nails, and we're like, oh, okay,
As a set.
there's something there.
yeah, she has a set called Crucifixion Nails. She does at Good Friday.
That would be awesome. Hey, sweetheart, could you get me another one of these guys? I'm going to think I'll attempt another new one that's relatively long. Hoping to get, I don't know when I'll be able to get back in the studio. This money is always the issue, of course. But would love to get Sale Branch to play bass, because I kind of picture this one as just being bass and vocals. And I was talking to Sale about it, and Sale was like, oh yeah, I can do the chords. I can do chords. And I'm like, oh, that would be awesome to get into a studio with Sale.
Yeah. Sale's a good bass player.
He is. He was the first guy I thought of, because I wanted,
And the rascal moved to Oklahoma.
I know he did. He's making things difficult on everybody. Yeah, because I was wanting to do some shows with him, and of course I saw him back at Greg's birthday party, and then that's what he told me. He's actually going to make the move, but
I think last time I saw him was right out here one night.
Yeah,
we played out here one night, and he was here.
well, he's an amazing songwriter, just a hell of a guy. I met you and Sale and Joseph Wayne Miller and Brian Adam Joyner all like the same weekend.
Right.
And hit it off with all four guys. You and Sale and Brian, obviously, we still keep in touch. Joseph's just kind of, I guess, gone off into the ether as a power lifter, which is good for Joe. He's got a kid, a wife, and all that stuff, but he was a hell of a songwriter.
For real.
Maybe he'll pick it up again, He goes through phases.
I think he's a wrestler right now.
Yeah, well, he's running that gym with Damon, that North Dallas, yeah, and Damon got all into powerlifting, and yeah, they're doing their thing, man. They're doing their thing. I saw him at Joseph showed up at the North Texas Songwriter Fest, the Jay Malugan Festival out there in Pilot Point. It was good to see him. Okay, see if I can do this one. This is another new one. This one's a long one. This was called Preacher with the Crucifix Eye, and the actual story behind this one was I was spending some time compliments of Tarrant County in their Gray Wall Hotel, and there was this younger fella who came up, and he was trying to get his life back together. He was very nice. He was probably thinking clearly for the first time in quite a while. He was a drug addict and had done some stupid stuff. Still was a good guy. He's going to have to do some hard time in a pretty ugly place for a while, but he was telling me how he really wanted to get out and start to preach and help people who were in his situation. And he had a tattoo that was a crucifix that went through his eye. And this has nothing to do with him. It was just the image that he presented. I love the image. The guy in this song is a bastard, to put it lightly. And this guy was not. But I couldn't pass up that image of the preacher with a crucifix eye. So this is my attempt to tell that story. Wicked words weave through the limbs of desolate trees, a tapestry. The shade of a martyr's mark, cloaked in apocryphal prophecy. Behind a rostrum made of bone, with a homily written in blood, he wryly smiles at the emptiness, like Satan after the flood. A congregation set in stone to ensure its loyalty. In their field of forced attendance, always silent in complicity. Why a razor, why a gospel? Sings a snake charm testament to coil good with evil around the path of final firmament. The misery and suffering, like a gut string guitar screams, to entwine the day and the light, and force a nihilist dream. So blessed lie the forgotten, fed upon like lost belief, contorted in their promises, a St. Peter's cross of relief. As hands search for virgin blood, as a means to wash clean an apocalypse of intention, hid behind her Savior's sheen. Her Savior's sheep. Well, that was most of it. I forgot for one half of a verse, but you get the gist. He had no good intentions, that fellow. Another thing that Jeff and I kind of bonded over, and I don't know if Jeff wants to go into a lot of this stuff, we both love black metal music and weird esoteric occult stuff. And Jeff's one of the few guys that I've had the pleasure of talking to who knew a lot about that stuff and knew more than I did about that stuff and turned me onto some cool books and some cool music. And yeah, so it's been interesting. You know, we always kind of... Jeff has some dark stuff. Jeff's good at intermixing stuff that's palatable. It kind of lightens the mood. You know, Jeff doesn't just dwell in the darkness. He knows how to kind of alleviate it.
You know, the thing probably that has as much to do with that as anything is when we were kids, little kids, you know, single digit age. My dad knew that. I think he liked scary movies, and we did as children. My sister and I, and subsequently our other siblings that came after, really liked horror movies, and that's something that sticks with me to this day. Horror movies are my thing. I love horror movies. I raised my kids on a steady diet of horror movies, much to maybe to their detriment, maybe to mine. I don't know, but you know, that and the fact that I grew up listening to a lot of I grew up in Upper East Tennessee in the Appalachian culture up there, And murder ballads were, you know, a big part of country music back in those days, and you used to hear a lot of that. So those dark songs about things of that nature, you know, were prevalent. And I have one like that. It's about 8 minutes long, and I don't usually do it live anymore because it was way longer than people's attention span in bars. So I quit doing it. So, but anyway,
Jeff and I had a competition going for a while. Who could write the longest? Who could get the longest song recorded? Jeff beat me. Jeff beat me by a few minutes.
It wasn't so much that I beat you, but the thunderstorm that we recorded at the end of the song is what beat you. My song was only about 7 minutes, but there's about a minute and a half of this incredible thunderstorm that we recorded live at the studio.
That was
because
amazing.
It was happening in that moment.
That was amazing. It all counts, man. Yeah, weird thing is I'm not a big horror movie guy. I'm finding I like comedy horror a lot because, I mean, I'm watching more now because like Heidi said, she loves it. But I tend to find a lot of it absurd. I just end up laughing. I end up laughing at stuff anyway. So I don't really get scared as much as I just get amused. But, speaking of that, I just watched a really cool one today that my supervisor at work recommended called Willy's Wonderland. And it's Nick Cage. And Nick Cage does not say a word through the entire movie.
Are you serious?
And he's completely brilliant and unhinged, and I would recommend it. It was one of the more entertaining movies.
Well, if you like the comedy horrors, he is also in a new movie called Renfield.
Renfield, which I loved.
Yeah.
Yes,
Have you seen it
Renfield.
all?
Yes.
I've not watched it yet. It's on the
It is
platform.
because I love him, and also the younger guy,
Yeah,
Holt.
that plays Renfield.
Yeah, something Holt. I really like him. And but no, it's worth checking out. Yeah, Willy's Wonderland was, like I said, a very entertaining
Well, I'm
movie.
gonna have to look at that one. With your recommendation, I'll chance it. Well, I was planning to do songs completely off the new album, but I'm gonna jump off of that mindset for just a moment and take you back to 2014 when the first album came out. It's if a writer's allowed to say what his favorite song that he wrote is, this is one of mine. I can't say it's the favorite one I've written, but it's one of my favorite songs I wrote, and I wrote it back before I ever moved to Texas. I'm talking like 1987 or 88. I wrote this song. I was still living in Nashville at the time, before I got my head together and came west. You have to be at least 35 years old to get the pop cultural reference in this one. Just warning you. I know you've been lying. You've been deceiving me, and I think you should know. You put on a real good show, but I ain't buying. Real life drama's got no actors reading lines, and no poets making rhymes. So take a long, long walk, make up lots of reasons. You can blame it all. On me. Clark Gable's not around to give a damn about your heartache. You built a silver screen around your mind. Episodes of fiction imitate the lives of lovers, and true love in real life is hard to find. So I'm hoping you'll excuse me while I show myself the exit. I've had all your performance I can stand. I can take the bitter with the sweet, but you love to spoil the ending. So why don't you search and find yourself a novel sort of man? You're used to taking what you want from men like me. If I was on a gambling spree, I'd be betting you're still reading lines the way they've never been. Forget them credits at the end. So keep your head up in the clouds. Save your lines for someone listening. You'll cry one day, and someone else will say, Clark Gable's not around to give a damn about your heartache. You built a silver screen around your mind. Episodes of fiction imitate the lives of lovers, and true love in real life is hard to find, friends. So I'm hoping you'll excuse me while I show myself the exit, 'cause I've had all your performance I can stand. I can take the bitter with the sweet, but you love to spoil the ending. So why don't you search and find yourself a novel sort of man?
Yes.
Thanks, y'all. Thank you.
Something like literary country.
Exactly. Where is that?
Man, it's hard to find anymore.
Chris is not going to be around long. Somebody's got to step up.
Although that guy has made it a lot further than anybody could have predicted.
You know, funny
Holy
thing,
shit.
Judd, two of my favorite songwriters, let me say it this way, my two favorite Texas songwriters are two guys that both went to college in Texas, and they were both literature majors in Texas.
That makes sense.
Christopherson and Don Henley.
There you go. I know. I think you surprised me with Don Henley. I think you told me that before, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because he hides it well. No, he actually.
He's an amazing
I take
song.
that back. After you said that, I went and I dug a little bit deeper into some of his stuff. I found an acoustic performance he had done. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay, I see it now." I completely missed it before with the 70s AM.
The Poppy Eagles thing kind of like sort of shrouds the fact that he's an incredible songwriter.
No, you're right. It's like another time that happened to me was when Warren Zevon, who's one of my all-time favorites, decided to cover that Steve Winwood song, Back in the High Life, and he did it as a ballad, and you realize what a really great song that is. How well written, and the lyrics are deep. It's not a pop song, really.
So dressed in pop
Yep,
music.
synths and electric drum beats, and that's all you remember. When he stripped it back, you're like, holy shit, that's actually a really good song.
I have a long sleeve T-shirt that I'll be breaking out again because the weather's getting right for it. And on the front of it, it has printed in white letters, "Send lawyers, guns, and money." The great
Zevon.
Warren Zevon.
Well, since you were talking about how that was one of your favorite songs, I don't know. This is one
Does
of my
Judd Block
favorites.
have one?
This is one of my favorites. I'm with you. I've got a couple.
The favorite song that you've written, what would that be?
Yeah. It's this one, and it's always been disappointing to me that it did not catch on. It's one of those things. I always think of,
Welcome to the music.
yeah, I know. I always think, well, anyway, there was a great Scottish philosopher who had come out with now it's considered a brilliant piece of literature, but he said when it first arrived, it fell dead born from the press. And I kind of feel like same thing with this song. I really thought this one was going to get some attention, and I still love it. I still play it. Double check here. Dave Kristen's got me all paranoid about tuning now. I just didn't give a damn. I mean, I have a punk background. As long as close, I was happy.
The old cliche is we tune because we care.
Yes. It was actually David Hume who said that quote, in case you were wondering. I don't think anybody was really like going to run out and buy a David Hume. treatise on human understanding, in case you're interested. I've read it 3 times and still don't comprehend what the hell he's talking about most of the time, but some cool stuff in there. He's the guy who came up with the argument, can even God create an object that he can't move? He was the father of the skeptics. He invented skepticism. Also, another great quote said, when you die, you're out like a candle. Let that sink in for a while. Anyway, this song's called Empty Chamber Grace. It's about what happens when a gunslinger develops a conscience.
I knew that was going to be the one. I knew it.
Well, it's the weight of all these souls that shadow this place. A cylinder-spun waltz to soundtrack the disgrace. Raise another shot of rye toward an always setting sun. Holster provides an altar for my only got a gun. By the buzzards on the signpost, well, I've come to find my way. A reputation that precedes me through the blood left in my wake. Broken limbs and final heartbeats veil the sage and line the trail. The landscape I've created, here's the moral of the tale. Now tombstones and saloon doors, they haunt my days and nights, while the devil just keeps talking through the whiskey and the wine. All my thoughts come on like torture. All alone is no escape. Relief's a loaded bullet to end this empty chamber grace. Yeah, relief's a loaded bullet to end this empty chamber grace. All right, thank y'all.
I love that song, buddy.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, it's gotten a lukewarm reception, but I like it, so damn it, it's going to stay in the set list. Got a lot of requests, but I'm going to play it anyway.
I think you should. I think you should play it anytime you have the the opportunity to sit before a microphone. It's tune time.
Yes. I heard like I said, Dave Christmas made me all paranoid now. While we're doing this, I want to send out best wishes to our buddy Dan Weber. Dan had surgery last Friday, and he's recuperating.
did.
Everything went well.
He sure did.
He's recuperating. Hopefully he'll be back with us soon. He's taking it easy right now, as he should.
And also, we'd like to send our condolences and our love and our heartfelt support for our friend Kelly Croson. She had a daughter that just passed away after having a tumor of some sort for like 17 years, if I understand right. It took 17 years for that to finally come to the place that it could take her from us. And so much love to Kelly Croson. Kelly, we love you.
Yeah. Yep, I saw that. That's horrible. And I feel, not to detract from that, but actually it happened in this room right here. I had not seen Kelly for quite a few years. And it was a night that I was playing with Sale, and I forget who else was up there. That's terrible. Me and Sale, and anyway, it doesn't matter. And she came out to support Sale, and she walked in. It was one of those situations where she walked in and I knew her face, and I could not for the life of me remember her name.
Right.
And it was like
A defense lawyer.
Yeah.
A name guys like us need to remember.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I told Heidi. Heidi's an attorney, and I was like, you should probably get to know Kelly. But I couldn't remember. I saw her face, and I knew it, and I couldn't remember her name. It was till after the show. It was later that night. I was like, God damn it, that was Kelly. But I had not seen her for a long time. Years. Last time I saw Kelly, there's no point going into that. But last time I saw her was a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
But that's horrible.
She's been around a little more lately than she had been for a bit.
She is, but we're thinking about her. I saw that come up. That's horrible.
I'd like to do you another song from the new album. And of the 10 songs that are on it, this one seems to be getting the most attention. Folks liking it, asking about it. So I'm going to play that one for you. And for those of you that are under 35 years old, this is what we call a waltz. It's called Crying's for the Pillow. I got the idea for this song from Tom McElvain. He gave me those lines. I tucked it under my arm and ran with it. Based on a true story, actually. We were playing out in Fort Worth where the real West begins. For a cause I believe in, surrounded by friends. You were probably there then. I was pouring my soul out on an old stockyard stage when it boiled up inside me, half sorrow, half rage. But crying's for the pillow, and drinking's for the bar. Don't cry before a stranger. He don't know who you are. Don't you drink all alone. It only deepens the scar. The crying's for the pillow, drinking's for the bar. I choked up on those words, tears stung my eyes. It took a breakdown in Cowtown for me to realize, for every pain there's a time, for every tear there's a place, and the truth came go is for the loser who hopes to find love again. And holding on's for believing that holding on always wins. When there's dead weight of dragging, do you hold on anyway? Or do you cut bait and pack up and be on your way? Crying's for the pillow, drinking's for the bar. Don't cry before a stranger. You don't know who you are. Don't you drink all alone. It only deepens the scar. So crying's for the pillow, and drinking's for the bar. Crying's for the pillow, drinking's for the bar. Thank you.
I think I might remember that. I think I might remember the incident. I may vaguely recall.
You probably do. You were there. You were there the night that happened. It was at the Longhorn Saloon in the Stockyards of Fort Worth, Texas for the Jug Jams.
Jug Jams, which is coming up again Sunday.
Sunday, and I'm there.
I don't usually promote other venues when I'm at a venue, but I don't think Carrie will mind. It's a breast cancer benefit coming up Sunday. Miss Angela Cook has put this together. She did it for many years. Took a break last year because of all the nonsense that went on, but it is back. It's going to be at the Rhinestone Saloon, I believe.
Rhinestone Saloon this
Fort
year,
Worth.
yeah, in the Stockyards of Fort Worth.
I have never been to, so it'll be
Same
exciting.
here.
I think I get to play with you and Mark Allen Outwood, and I don't know who the other person is, but I think Angela put us together.
That would be awesome.
So that'll be great. It'll be great. But, okay, well, I'm going to sing a song here that is oddly, okay, the previous song I sung I really liked and didn't get a lot of attention. This one is a song that I did not think would get a lot of attention, but people regularly ask me to play it, which is an odd experience for me, and especially the kind of people who ask me to play it. One of them is Town Walsh, and Town Walsh, you know Town, incredible songwriter, incredible performer, but I did not think this would be something to his liking. The other one is D.B. Duncan, and I guess he kind of falls in the same category. It kind of surprised me. So this song is about black metal. I had mentioned that me and Jeff love black metal. We talked about different bands and different performers.
Now I think it deserves to mention that black metal is a brand of extreme heavy metal that was pretty much originated in Scandinavia, Norway,
Yep.
Switzerland, those countries up there, Oslo primarily being
The epicenter.
focal point.
Yeah.
It was a very, very dark kind of extreme metal, so they called it black metal.
Yeah, and they
Judd, who writes a song about that
of
in
course,
Texas?
naturally,
This guy.
because
This
I
guy right
figured
here.
this is what people want to hear. Now, think about black metal that is a very raw form. It's not pleasant to listen to. Either like it or you don't. But what I liked is these people lived their convictions. This wasn't, I'm going to, put on a Satan shirt and some spikes, and then I'm, they lived it. They were killing each other. They were burning churches and all that. That's commitment. You don't see that kind of commitment in a lot of music anymore. So anyway, I co-wrote this one with the Bard of Fort Worth, Mr. Rob Redwine. He helped me out with some of this. I don't think Rob realized what the hell he was writing about either. But he's Rob Redwine, so he came up with words. So this one is this one's called "Death Drives a Pale Forklift," and the reason why it's called that is I used to work out at a J.C. Penney warehouse with this fellow who'd come in every morning at 5 o'clock, dressed in full black metal regalia. He had the corpse paint, he had spikes and chains, he had indecipherable T-shirts, And he drove a forklift, and he drove it like a madman. And I don't know how the hell he didn't flip that thing over. But every morning I'd see him, and I always wondered, man, how many wrong turns in life did he have to take to wind up at a J.C. Penney warehouse?
Wearing spiked gauntlets on his forehead.
Exactly. But I was
I
always...
want to meet that guy.
Man, I did too, but I was too chicken shit to ask because, I knew how many wrong turns I had taken. So we left it at that. I tried to fill in the blanks with this little song. It is called Death Drives a Pale Forklift. It probably should be annotated at some point, but the gentleman to my left will get the references. Well, 3 a.m. comes awful damn early for the dark lord of apartment C. He bets Varg never had to deal with this shit, well, outside of his jail time at least. He deciphers a shirt that reads Marduk or Golgoroth, hell, he don't know. At this ungodly hour, they all look the same, and Fort Worth's a long way from Oslo. Turn another key from the darkest of doors, bring squinting from mid-morning's light. As off through the streets he flies once again to the sound of black metal bled white. Things ain't the same as they were in his hometown, where Vikings trump cowboys and steeds, and metal stages were last sanctuaries for those dying for things to believe. Warehouse it looms like a Nephilim's tomb, if looked at in just the right light. Time clock it turns, a succubus, damning a soul when each day kills the night. Still he'll never allow that corpse paint to run, or his pagan-fueled fire to fade. For the left he drives is just another space, become his own personal Helvete, and that's hell in Norwegian, folks. End of the day, he can roll up his sleeves over his Odin's cross tattoo and play in the venues of memory with dead and all he once knew. That ring in his ears once lost, and now returns. An echo stretched 3 a.m. thin. That'll resolve with the crack of the dawn, and he'll do it all over again. All right, because all the black metal fans out there,
Right, all
all 2 or 3 of us.
one of you. It was a fun time. It was back in 1992. I think when all that stuff started erupting worldwide.
Yeah, yeah. Well, folks, we got about, 17 minutes? 17 minutes left. We got to close this thing down. Had a great time so far, guys. The Circus Biddies are coming up later tonight. It's always a good time. Bunch of good people do some interesting things. I'm not sure what the theme is tonight, but they always tend to have very interesting themes, and I'm looking forward to see what it is. But me and Jeff probably got a couple more in us, and then we'll call it a night. Thank y'all for hanging out.
I wrote this song. I've never recorded it. It's never been on one of my records. But I wrote this thing a good many years ago, and it's been a staple in my live shows, but for some reason it's not on a record. It's called Walkin', Talkin', Highway Stalkin' Blues. Boots are sitting over by the front door, and they're looking at me like they're wanting me to put them on and hit the road. My domestic partner found a better offer, and she gets to ride for free. So I'm thinking I need a new plan before I explode. And now her and that little bitty sissy dog, Lord, they've left new scars, and they're the last 2 bitches that are ever gonna piss on me. I got 2 pairs of jeans and 5 or 6 shirts. My CDs are in my car. It don't look like much, but she purrs when I slip in my key. Got them walking, talking, highway stalking blues. I've been sitting at home with my ramble on, and a lot out there to lose. This domestic life's been killing me. Lord knows I paid my dues. I've got them walking, talking, highway stalking, get the hell out of here blues. A song like this has got to have a revenge verse. This is the way songwriters get revenge. They say the pen is mightier than the sword, or something along those lines. She won't see me coming. She ain't got a clue. There's a whole lot more to this long-haired boy than something she's left behind. When my song hits the radio, what's she gonna do? I'm gonna tell the world about all of her lovers. I'm gonna spill her beans. The radio They're gonna blow her cover, and she'll know what payback means. I'll give her them a walking, talking, highway stalking blues. I've been sitting at home with my ramble on, and a lot out there to lose. This domestic life's been killing me. Lord knows I've paid my dues. I got them walking, talking, highway stalking, get the hell out of here blues. I got them walking, talking, highway stalking, get the hell out of here blues.
That needs to find its way onto a record someday.
Probably ought to. Should have already, I guess.
That's a great song, man. All right, guys. Like I said,
I was like, what's not very Towns fan saying, is it?
I think, I don't know, brother. I think, yeah, probably is. I definitely hear Towns pulling one of those out.
Judd, thank you so much for having me come and do this with you, man.
Brother, thank you for
I've looked
saying
forward
yes.
to it. Yeah, I've been looking forward to it, and this has been great. Just to sit with you and do this, which is what we do.
Well, it's
don't get to
nice
do-
to have friends like you and the friends that I do have who are incredible songwriters, like I said, that I also can consider friends. So this is a treat for me to get to sit right here and watch you do your thing.
Yeah, same here. Likewise.
But guys, we got a couple more here. I'm gonna play. We're gonna have Jeff close the night out. But I'm gonna close this with the same song that I always close my sets with. This is for a gentleman named Jay Johnson. Jay was a huge influence on the North Texas scene, and fortunately, Jay decided to check out on us a little early. But Jay had this uncanny ability to know when somebody needed to hear something, and he always knew the perfect way in which to say it. So last time I saw Jay was at Bill's Records, celebrating Bill's birthday, and Jay pulled me and my buddy Alex Lease aside and said, "You two come with me," and we walked out to Jay's truck where we proceeded to share the world's hottest bottle of scotch because, well, summertime, and Jay had left the windows up. And I never divulged what it is that Jay told me that day. Suffice it to say, it keeps me going on those days when I'm playing to the back wall of the bar. So this is for our buddy Jay Johnson. It's called The Space in Between.
Which is a great song. I'm happy you wrote that.
Thank you, bro. A determined hand, soundtrack by a final breath, to a backdrop of love's last shade, all flavored by metal and death. And the irony for the poet was the words would go unseen, to describe the regret of the action that exists in the space in between. A tie-dyed mask drained gray by constant cruelty to explore, exhausted with the struggle of feeling one day more. And the irony for the poet was the words would go unseen, to describe the regret of the action that exists in the space in between. So we left his wisdom scattered while preparing for the fall at venues in songs and conversation. Shh, this part's important. Making suicide notes of us all. Yeah, he made suicide notes of us all. And the irony for the poet was the words would go unseen to describe the regret of the action that exists in the space in between. That exists in the space in between. Right, God bless you, Jay. All right, thank you, folks. Mr. Hopson is going to close this out for us.
Oh, wow.
Can I make a request?
I feel,
I think you probably know what I'm going to request.
do I need to put the capo on the 3rd fret?
I think so.
All right. Does that have something to do with a Beat Generation
It
writer?
may just have something to do with that fella.
Right on. You know, so many times I've asked the crowd before I play this song, how many of y'all know who Jack Kerouac is? And it's like it's like you ask somebody if who was the Greek god of the underworld. You know, you might as well ask that. This song is not about Jack Kerouac, but it's he gets honorable mention, and named the song as such. Yeah, glad to do it for you, Judd, and thank you for asking for it. It's called Like Kerouac on the Run. I was waiting downtown at the station for a bus to get me out of here. I'd wore out my welcome and it was time to move along. Guitars and pawn shops and bones and closets and a bad taste in my mouth were the residue of everything that I'd done wrong. A ham and Swiss and a Mountain Dew were gonna be my closest friends. I hope they'll stick with me until we make it to another town. Then that 315 from Abilene pulled in down to South Lamar. It swung open the door, and that's when I saw her step on down. And she looked for all the world like Grace Slick back in '69. Toting bags and purple scarves and long dark hair. And somehow she managed to light a smoke and then tripped when she kicked the curb. All them bags of hers went scattering everywhere. Chivalry took over me, so I helped her pick 'em up. I said, them curbs are killer, and she blushed and said, yeah, they are. Then she broke out laughing, so I laughed too. We talked for a little while. She said, where are you headed? I said, maybe not that far. And she talked a lot about Rasputin, Jesus, and Townes Van Zandt, and how she found herself in the Arizona sun. How Dylan and Parsons had written her life, and how she was their biggest fan, and being out there like Kerouac on the run. So I thought the gods had smiled on me. So I sat there and missed my bus while we talked about cabins up on the coast.
coast of Maine. I was hoping that the topic of the conversation might turn to us, but the dark clouds rolled in when I asked her name. And she turned her face away from me, and she stared off down the road, and I could see the wounded beast she held inside. She said perfect moments are hard to come by, and we ought to let them be, 'cause every good thing changes, don't miss your ride. And not a day goes by that I don't think about her. I'll never be the same, 'cause I felt a little more like a human since that day. When she gathered her bags and pulled in her clouds, and she climbed aboard the bus, a sad smile through the window, and that greyhound pulled away. But we talked a lot about Rasputin, Jesus, and Towns Van Zandt, and how she found herself in the Arizona sun, and how Dylan and Parsons had written her life, and how she was their biggest fan, and being out there like Kerouac on the run. I guess she's still out there like Kerouac on the run.
All right, folks, that's Jeff Hopson, legendary Texas songwriter. I'm Judd Block. Thanks for hanging out with us. Brad and Carrie, thank you for letting us do this. Original music we know is a tough sell on the best of days.
Right on, brother.
Happy anniversary to Six Springs Tavern. They got a big party coming up on Friday, I believe. It's an honor to get to play the best under 500 capacity venue, live music venue in DFW.
And that's official.
It's official. We love you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out. We hope to see you soon. Stick around for the circus biddies. It's always a good time. We'll see y'all next month, hopefully.
Good night, y'all. Thank you, Judd.